The US has crossed the grim milestone of 500,000 COVID-19 related deaths, and US President Joe Biden, First Lady Dr. Jill Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris and Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff observed a moment of silence at the White House recently to mark the lives lost during the pandemic. They stood silent as the hymn Amazing Grace was played. Biden spoke at the White House and urged Americans to resist becoming numb to the sorrow. He urged the people to set aside partisan differences and fight the pandemic together.
Each day, I receive a small card in my pocket that I carry with me in my schedule. It shows the number of Americans who have been infected by or died from COVID-19. Today, we mark a truly grim, heartbreaking milestone. 500,071 dead. That's more Americans who have died in 1 year in this pandemic than in World War I, World War II, and the Vietnam War combined. That's more lives lost to this virus than any other nation on earth. But as we acknowledge the scale of this mass death in America, we remember each person and the life they lived.
Biden ordered flags over all the federal buildings to be lowered until sunset or February 26th. The Washington National Cathedral marked the day by tolling the cathedral bell 500 times. The United States remains the worst hit country due to the spread of COVID-19. More American lives have been lost due to the pandemic than the World War I, the World War II, and even the Vietnam War combined. This is more than the number of people who died in 2019 due to chronic lower respiratory diseases, strokes, Alzheimer's, flu, and pneumonia combined. The lives lost are equal to the population of Kansas City and Missouri, and higher than the population of Miami, Raleigh, North Carolina, Omaha, and Nebraska. The U.S. accounts for the world's 4% of population. It has reported 19% of the world's COVID-19 deaths. The daily COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations have fallen to the lowest levels since before the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. U.S. authorities rolled out COVID-19 vaccines in mid-December. However, the University of Washington projects the death toll could cross 580,000 by the month of June. Now, for more on this news development, our correspondent Jagriti Dave is still with us on this broadcast from Washington, D.C. Jagriti, a very grim milestone indeed, 500,000 COVID-19 related deaths in the United States alone. Tell us more. Where is the U.S. lacking when it comes to tackling the pandemic?
Well, look, I think a lot of people have said that one of the problems was that there was no nationwide mask mandate. Those who think that the virus would have been better combated by having everyone wear masks. That is something that many health experts have been urging people to do. I think constitutionally that is very difficult for a president to order nationwide, and that is something that Joe Biden recognized, which is why he, when he became president, ordered a mask mandate on federal property and on transport, public transport in the United States. But that was something that his predecessor had been criticized for not advocating mask wearing. Many people blamed Donald Trump for turning mask wearing into a political issue, something that lefty Democrats do. So that has been one of the challenges here in the United States. Obviously, with the spread of the virus, the United States being the worst hit country in the world, hospitals have been at capacity in many states across the country. There have been waves of the virus across the country, often coinciding after big public holidays like Memorial Day or Memorial Day holidays, for example, or spring break, times where people have gathered, even though there has been these warnings about gatherings during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I think those are just some of the issues that the country has faced.
Right. My final question for you, Jagriti. Dr. Anthony Fauci recently said, and he in fact gave a stern warning, that normalcy may not be restored till the end of this year. Is there a certain lockdown fatigue or pandemic fatigue in the US when it comes to following restrictions like wearing masks or practicing social distancing, which could be blamed to a certain extent for the rise in cases and the related deaths, of course?
Look, I think across the world there is a general sense that, people want the virus to be under control. I think people are in general wanting life to return to normal. And in the United States, as we've just talked about, there is varying degrees of comfort and compliance when it comes to mask wearing. Now, there are still concerns, as Dr. Fauci said, about the cases, especially with new variants rampaging across the country. And that is really the concern about keeping the virus under control, even with the vaccines. Now, these concerns exist despite the fall in hospital admissions. They've fallen for 40 consecutive days in the United States, and you've got around 1.6 million vaccinations that are being given to Americans every day. So there are positive signs, but of course we've got this new risk with the variants in play. So I think health experts around the world are very taking a cautious approach. You look at the UK, that talk about the plan, the roadmap to easing lockdown. Even they are talking about a very cautious approach, because I think everyone, even here in the United States, health experts like Dr. Fauci are saying, let's not rush too soon to try to make everything normal. We need to make sure that the virus is under control, and to make sure that we're not risking another wave of the virus sweeping across the country if suddenly we loosen restrictions without really being sure that the virus isn't going to spread.
Right, Jagriti, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast, and thank you for all your inputs. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.